If you visited my website, you'll find that I explore the aspects of these hominids through not only their physical form, but the spiritual or the non-physical aspects that make up at least half of the research once you get going into the research of these hominids. So on my website, if you haven't visited my website, please do. This is just the tip of the iceberg, the research that I've presented here on my YouTube channel. And essentially, I had put this research on YouTube so that people would come and look at my website. So be sure that you do look at my website, and you'll get a better picture of what I'm presenting in these YouTube videos. But today I wanted to talk about the duality of the existence of these hominids. And that became very evident in the research that I had been doing when I first started. Some of the very first experiences I had were hard for me to really wrap my head around. So I look back at that, and I guess I could kind of sum it up in that the only way you're going to move forward in the research is to really accept that there is a duality of these beings. And for instance, the physical side of my research, I've developed a theory called emergent homin theory, and that basically is around the MUC7E gene, which is a mucus membrane unique to what I believe these hominids have. And I came across that through research that I had done that corroborated through another theory that I have, which was the contagion theory, that they were able to separate themselves from us Homo sapiens when they had experienced contagions in Europe and also in the U.S. With the Native Americans, that those epochs, those contagion epochs, affected their relationship with us and dwindled their numbers. So once I got into that, I developed this emergent homin theory, and that essentially addresses their origins of Africa and their relationships, the interbreeding that they had with hominids throughout history, that they are a cousin of ours. And research such as Melba Ketchum goes into pretty good detail on that, but mine specifically identifies a marker, genetic marker, MUC7E, that through future algorithms we'll be able to identify them through like environmental DNA and that sort of thing. But one of the physical aspects of my own experience, the Sitanga, or the Hinskubenu that I saw on the Omaha res, had long reddish brown hair, probably about 8 inches long, and the hair itself was like matted, really matted, almost like dreadlock looking hair. And it was its arms, its legs, it was literally all over it. It really had this unkept look, which is different from a lot of the sightings such as the Patterson-Gimlin video. So we know there's variations of these hominids, and not only their color of their hair, but also their just the way they take care of themselves and that sort of thing in comparison to us, which we also see that also. So those are some of the physical things. Of course, we have the footprints, and we can see the tree structures that they create. Those sorts of things define the half of their existence, literally, that we can focus on scientifically. The other part of this that I have delved into in my research, and I truly believe you're not going to get too far in your research if you don't embrace the duality of these beings, because you can only go so far with the footprints and, you know, the dermal ridges of the handprints and that sort of thing. But to really understand their existence and to explain a lot of the things that people experience during sightings, you have to take a step over into this other dimensional aspect. Ron Moorhead calls him an interdimensional, and some of the theory that I put together, the biofeedback or the biostatic theory, does identify like the Higgs boson particle, which is something that if you have studied any of the recent science, you would know about the Higgs boson as a part of the interdimensional and aspect of science today. And that was something that just simply was not the case 5 years ago or more, that we understood like the Higgs boson particle. If you start looking at their ability to use portals, and in my personal experience, I've seen them with in a cloaking aspect, where they were really just kind of this transparent being that you could see was there, but yet they weren't totally observable. You could see the outline of them, and the one that I saw was probably 8 or 9 feet, probably 9 feet tall, directly in front of me, and that really was kind of the ultimate changing of my attitude. When you're confronted by this, you have to either dismiss it completely or attempt to explain it with some scientific terms. So one of the things that I was able to gather is that they use these ley lines, and I'm not the first to come up with this, certainly other researchers have, but I've kind of tied it together in a more unified theory, in that this interdimensional aspect, quantum aspect of using these ley lines, and also by putting their head to the ground and creating almost like a conduit, almost like if you would bow down to worship in like they do in some Muslim mosques, they would get into that particular position, which almost creates a conduit, that I believe, and in that fashion, on these ley lines, they would be able to generate a form of, generate this electromagnetic energy, and this could then allow them to, for short periods of time, be able to cloak. And in addition to that, I think they use this quartz crystals. They either eat them or they use them, maybe holding them when they're in these magnetic ley lines. So that in itself is something that either is a lost vestige of our existence, or something we were never able to do in the past as Homo sapiens. But they seem to be able to do this and travel these portals all over the globe. So this was written, the research that I've looked back on, there was a Damden in Russia had written and done some research on this. And I might add, I've collaborated with researchers in Russia and international researchers. So the theories and things that I presented are not just local, they're theories that are presented globally in the existence of these beings. So I wanted to kind of explore that because I really think we have a lot of researchers who are stuck in maybe one camp or the other, and you can't be so rigid as to believe that the hard science is the only thing that's going to solve this problem, because it's simply not the case. Even though what I believe I've presented their genetic marker with this MUC7E, it's going to take time for that to develop through algorithms and for science to catch up with it. In the same context, the theory I present with the bioelectric Sasquatch is that these hominids being able to utilize these interdimensional portals and cloaking, that aspect is going to be take time also before this develops into any mainstream. I mean, it was only within maybe the last 5 years that the Higgs boson particle was identified through quantum mechanics. So these sorts of things are evolving, and they weren't even the ability to even understand them scientifically was not the case 10, 20, 30 years ago. So it's not like these things weren't happening back then. We're just now being able to put context to it and understand it with the scientific principles that are presented for us today. So I wanted to address some of this, and I really encourage you to look on my website. I felt it was important that people really understand that this is a part of their existence, and there's no way we can come together as a group or as an understanding of these beings without fully embracing the duality that exists with them. So this is Richard Soule in the land of the giants, international hominologist.